guys, welcome to my um welcome to my channel. It still feels weird, by the way, but we're gonna do it anyway. Welcome to my second sit down video. Yeah, this video is gonna be all over the place. I can already tell because I'm very emotional right now. I didn't even think things through. I didn't plan anything. I'm just the sooner I do this, the better, because I've been thinking about it, but I don't want to think, I want to do. So this video is, like I said, it's going to be all over the place, but right now I'm in a place where I'm just I feel stuck. I feel uninspired, unmotivated. I'm a little bit down. I'm really not feeling great, and I hate to be doing this sort of thing. I don't want anyone to feel the way that I feel right now, but I feel like this is cathartic in a way for me. It's gonna help. I feel like it's gonna help me. So this is this is for me basically, but I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy watching it. It's gonna be a testimony of how I got my current car, and sort of I don't know what it is, but it's basically a testimony of how I got the car that I'm driving now. And I hope that as I watch this back, it's gonna be motivation and a reminder to me of God's grace and goodness, and of the things that I can actually achieve, because I'm really feeling uninspired. I'm feeling a bit lost, to be honest with you. There's a lot happening, and there's a lot that's not happening also. So yeah, grab yourself a glass of wine or a glass of tea, coffee, whatever, because I feel like it's going to be a long one, okay? So first of all, I got my car last year October. It's a second-hand car. I've never bought a brand new car ever. This is my third car now, and all three cars have been second-hand, right? And I've got my reasons for that. Firstly, affordability. I can't afford a brand new car. A brand new car goes for 800k now, and that's not even the fanciest of, that's not even the most fanciest car. So for my first car, I just wanted a startup car. I just wanted to have wheels, because I had just gotten a baby. I got a car when my baby was 7. No, I'm lying. She was almost a year old actually, and I'd been struggling that whole year, also with going to work. Luckily work was close, but no, I felt like at that point I needed a car. I needed a car for work, for the baby, and just in general. And no one at home, no, I'm lying, my sister had a car, yeah, but also just realizing, if anyone got sick and my sister wasn't around, what was gonna happen? So a car, honestly, I feel like a car is a necessity. And I had 6 months left of my, what was it, ComServe at the time. So you just realize that if you get a job at a town that's 2 hours away from home, how are you gonna get there? How are you gonna, I felt like it was a necessity, right? So I was shopping for a car, and then I got my first car, which was a Kia Cerato. If I have a picture, I'll put a picture here. It was a nice car. I liked that car. I liked that it was cheap. I got it for 139. I could have gotten it for cheaper, honestly, if I negotiated, but I wasn't clued up at the time, and no one was really helping me with the whole the actual buying. My sisters and friends, I think, were helping me with choosing the car, but when it comes to buying and all that other stuff, no one really was helping me, and I didn't know what I was doing. But I did watch a few YouTube videos. I did Google a few things. It just, buying a car is an emotional thing, I feel. So when the time comes, like, you're not really thinking straight, you just want the car. So I could have really like shaved off like 10k from the price of the car, but I wasn't thinking of that at the time. But that's not the point of this video. So yeah, I got that car, got it on finance. My goal was to pay it off in 6 months because I didn't know what was gonna happen after my ComServe, my community service. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't know if I was gonna get a job. So I wanted the car to be mine, like to be fully paid off by the time I leave, which I did. It was tough. Like, I had to sacrifice a lot of things, but it needed to be done, and it gave me a lot of peace in the end because I knew that I wouldn't have to like scramble for cash to pay for that car. So yeah, paid that car off by the time literally on the last month of my ComServe. That was the last payment I did, and like, I'm so grateful for that because that one decision led me. That's why I'm starting off there. It led me to buying this car cash, right? So I got that car, and then I think that was 2019, paid that car off, right? And then later, no, it wasn't later on, the next year in 2020, I think that's when COVID started. Yeah, when lockdown happened, I was in Mpumalanga. I'm originally from KZN, like home is KZN for me. So I was in Mpumalanga. I had just finished a 4-month contract there, and literally lockdown started on my last week there, right? So I had to finish my last week there, but I was also a bit like anxious about going home because I had a baby back home, and I didn't want to like bring COVID back home and like infect everybody else. So I chose to stay there for a week or so. During that time, like, you could still travel back and forth, right? Like, you could still it was strict, but it wasn't that strict. Like, I knew of people who were traveling, in like interprovincial traveling, but I was like, nah, I'm pretty sure by the time I finish like quarantining, like, I could still go back home, right? That wasn't the case. Wow, like, I just thought of that time and how stressful that was. Yeah, I couldn't travel. I remember the day I decided that I was done. Like, I had finished with the 2 weeks, but mentally also I was done. Like, I was just like, I need to go home. Like, I need to go home. Like, things were just bad around that time, right? It's like, I need to go home. So that day I packed everything into my car, but I left my furniture and stuff there. I honestly didn't have much because I knew I wasn't going to be there for long. But I packed everything that I could into my car. My car was cramped. Like, it was full of stuff. And then I went to the police station. I'd been there the previous day. And I didn't get the station commander because at the time you could get a permit to travel, but only from the station commander or something like that. So they told me to come back the following day. I told that gentleman, that cop, my story, and he was like, yeah, no, come back the next day. He'll definitely help you. Dun, dun, dun. So I was like, okay, cool. That morning I woke up early, showered, packed my things into the car. I even went to the petrol station and I filled up my car because I was like, I'm going home today, right? I think this was around like 7:30 in the morning. The police station was literally like 1 minute away from the petrol station. So I went there, luckily found the station commander or whoever that guy was, and I was very emotional. Like, I I prayed the whole night. I was like, I need to go home. Like, I was done. I was missing my baby. I just wanted to be home. Like, it was a very dark time. Like, beginning of COVID was a very dark time. So I just needed to be home. I get there and this guy is with some other cop. So I explained my situation. Like, this is what's happening. I even show him like my work things because they made me a permit at work, right? So I showed him. I was like, I need to go home. I can't even pay rent where I'm staying now because I don't have a job. Like, I put out my soul there. Like, I told my story and I was like, yeah. So the guy's like, I can't help you. And I'm just like, how? But I was here yesterday and the other cop said you could help me. And he's like, who who's that? Like, now he's like causing a scene, basically. Like, who told you that? I can't help you. I don't, like, I was like, yo. I left and I cried. Like, yo. That was a really, really dark time. I cried, and then I was like, no, I'm going home. Like, I'm not going back to the place I was renting at the time. Like, I'm not going back. Like, I was determined to go home. It's like, okay, fine. Like, I'm going home. So, like, I'll see. So, basically what's gonna happen. So I drive, right? Like, I wasn't even like 20 minutes away from where I was staying at the time, and I literally don't know what happened. Like, I blacked out. I think I was so stressed about the whole situation. Like, I think I blacked out. The next thing I know, the car is swerving, like, and I'm trying to brake, but it's just making things worse. And then I ended up on the other side of the road, like on top of like a little hill sort of thing. It wasn't like that big. It's a pity I don't have pictures of that thing, like that whole, like my car on top of that thing, a hill. But it wasn't bad. Like, looking back, it wasn't bad. But at the time, I was shaken, right? And luckily, I didn't hit anyone. Like, I was the only one on the road at that time. And like, I think like a few minutes later, a car came by, and then a truck. God bless that truck driver, because the car that came by didn't help me, right? It was two old men with, I think, their wives or something. They just came and they're like, oh, what happened? And I was like, I don't know. And they're like, no, you cannot know what happened. You just caused an accident. I was like, you're not helping right now. Then they left. They literally left me there. And then a truck driver came. Oh my God, bless that guy, because he managed to like bring my car like down from that hill thing, and then they parked it nicely on the side of the road, and they left me with intambo, like a rope, like a towing rope, in case someone could come and tow me, because I wasn't far from where I was staying, like I said, and I wasn't far from the next town either. So, you know, yeah. Dark time. So I called like a guy I knew there, right? Called him to come like help me out. So he came, and then he towed me to the next town. I think it was like 10-15 minutes away. He towed me to the next town, and then that's when I called my insurance. Like, after a while, I decided to call my insurance. I didn't call the insurance there and then, because I felt like the damage wasn't bad enough. Like, I didn't think it was, I just felt like ishayikile imoto, you know, like nothing. It looked superficial, like it didn't look mechanical or anything. So yeah, we got to the next town, and when we got to the mechanic, they were like, no, the fan belt or whatever is broken or whatever. It was just, I don't know what was happening at the time. They were speaking to the guy, so yeah. But they did something to the car, and they said I could drive, but I should monitor the temperature of the engine or whatever. So I went to the police station because insurance wanted a case number. Went to the police station. Oh, this is dragging. But I went to the police station, right? And I got a case number, and then I was like, okay, I'm still going home. Like, still. So I drove not even like 10 minutes, and the temperature was high. So I was like, nope, I'm not doing this, because apparently it's a shy engine. I don't know much about cars, but I do know that the engine is the most important part. And if that goes to shit, sorry, but if that dies, then you don't have a car. So I was like, okay, no, I'm not, like, this is a sign. So I called the guy to tow me back. So tow me back, and I stayed, right? But actually didn't even, like, I left there the next day. But my car, like, I couldn't take my car with me. I couldn't drive. Like, I left it there, and I took everything with me home, like my furniture and stuff. So I basically moved out, but left my car there. But insurance said they're gonna pick it up, and they did. They evaluated the car and said it was a write-off. So after like 2 months, I think they gave me cash. The car was worth 120 or something at the time, but they minus the excess. So I think I got like 118, 115, I can't remember. And then I stayed at home for a few months, and then I got another job, right? And I needed a car. I stayed at home without a car for a few months. And it was lockdown, so I didn't think I needed a car then. But I basically had the money in my account for like a couple of days before I got a new job, right? So I needed a car. I remember on my way here, it was the job that I'm in now. On my way here, like, we passed by the garage and I bought the car, and then they delivered it the next day. My second car was I don't even know if I should say because it's gone now. But yeah, I bought that car cash using the money that insurance had paid me, right? And I was grateful for that because I didn't know how long I was going to stay in this job, right? Like, I didn't know what was going to happen. And this was 2 years ago. Wow. Yeah, it was 2020. So I bought the second car in 2020 and drove it for a year, and then over a year actually. And then that's when I bought this car that I have now. Yeah. Like I said, like, this is to motivate myself and to remind myself of God's grace and goodness, and that what he said he will do. And a whole other things that are faith related that I feel like need to speak to me. And if it relates to you, then that's great, you know. Also, this is the type of content that I like to watch from time to time. So, yeah. So, I had been wanting a new car the whole of last year, but I was also torn between. And I'm going to be very honest here. Like, you know, what's the point of having a YouTube channel if you're not going to be honest? Like, I was torn between buying like land or buying a new car, right? And also I wanted to start a business, but it was just a whole lot of things last year. But I was also not like in a very good space last year. So, but I was also very unsure about the fact that about where I was gonna like settle down. So buying land seemed like such a permanent thing to do if I wasn't sure of where I was gonna settle down. I know, like, thinking back, I would have made the same decision. I love my car, like, love it. So I wanted a new car. Like, that car was fine. The car I had was great. I didn't have any issues. It treated me great. Like, no issues at all. But I just felt like I needed a new car, like a car that was age appropriate, that I would look at. Like, I just wanted a nicer car, right? Vanity. So I was car shopping. I was on Auto Trader, like on every page you could think of, like searching for a car. And yeah, I even made a few offers. All were denied. I remember there was one series has always been my favorite car. I remember there was one series that was going for cheap, but it had a high mileage. But I'm not scared of those things because both my previous cars had been that. So I was like, you know. So I went to look for it. It was gone. Like, I think I made like 3 or 4 offers on different cars and didn't get them, right? And then we had a girls trip to Durban with my friends, obviously. And there's we buy cars, I don't know what to call it, like a dealership there, and it's one of the biggest, I think. So I asked my friends if we could go there, like, just to see what's out there, and get a feel of the car and see if I can't find anything. So we got there, like, the place is full of cars, affordable cars, like, and what's nice about it is that if the car has any like problems, they tell you, right? They tell you, and you know exactly what you're buying. So got there, like, so many cars, were so overwhelmed. But as soon as I saw my current car, I knew in my heart, like, I always hear people say this, and I think, like, nah, but I knew I had to have that car. There's a video of me, like, I'll put it up, right? There's a video of me getting into the car and just, like, being so emotional. I literally cried in that car. The first time I got into the car, I cried. I just knew that I had to have that car. Right? So I got into the car and I just started crying, and I just, like, it felt as if it was already mine. I remember my friends saying that, because we had been walking around, right? And then we were trying to open the cars and get in, and most of them were locked. So I remember opening that car, and it opened, and my friends were like, oh, it's opened for you, like, this is meant to be, and all of that. I was just like, oh. And I was just like, oh my God. You know, I started believing it. Like, I started, like, seeing myself owning that car. And at the time, it didn't feel like I was, like, manifesting or whatever. But looking back now, like, I think it makes a difference. Like, when you actually believe that something, like, could be yours, or you actually see yourself, you know, I think it kind of speeds the process up. I believe that. I don't know. So, yeah, so I got a guy to help me with, we got someone to help us when we were looking at the cars, right? So he comes and he's like, no, that car, someone's made an offer for that car already, they're waiting for finance, dun. And I'm just like, oh, okay, fine, like, there's 100 other cars here. And I just knew in my heart that I'm not going back home with the car that we came with. I didn't want that car anymore. Like, I was done with that car. So I was like, okay, fine. I even told him, I was like, okay, if I don't get this car, like, I'm definitely gonna buy another car. I think this was a Saturday. Yeah, I think it was a Saturday. So cool. We leave, we go do other things. But I couldn't stop thinking about that car. Sorry. My voice is my chest is, yeah. So, yeah, we left, right? Couldn't stop thinking about the car. And then Sunday we left. We went to my friend's place in Pietermaritzburg. And then, on a Monday, my other friend and I drove back to Durban, right? To try make an offer. I don't know what I can't remember what we were going to do there. But, yeah, we got there, the car was still there, and I got to test drive it, right? But the guy was like, no, we're still waiting for finance, because it was a weekend, so apparently finance people hadn't gotten back to them or whatever, so they're still waiting for the finance department. And I'm like, okay, cool. But I test drove the car, and yeah. So on a Tuesday, right, I called the guy. I was like, hi, is the car still available? If it's available, then I want to come. Because I want to sell my car to them. I wanted to sell my car to them and then top up, right, so I could buy the car. So I'm not sure if I should talk numbers, but I hate it when, like, YouTubers do that, like, they don't talk. Okay, I'm gonna be real, right? At the time, the car that I had, right, the car that I sold to them, they gave me 90,000 for it, right? I feel like it wasn't bad, because I think I bought the car for 112,000. It wasn't more than 115,000, but it definitely wasn't 150,000. Hey, how much was the car? No, it was 102,000. Yeah, it was 102,000. Right? So I felt like it wasn't bad, and I'd driven the car for more than a year. So I felt like what they were giving me wasn't bad at all. So I was like, okay, cool. So I was ready to sell that car. But the car that I was buying was 220,000, I think. Yeah. So it was 221,000 or something like that, because they add like some, I think 1.5 or something for administration, which is a scam. Anyway, so yeah, So I had to top up with like 100 and something thousand, and I had less than 100,000. I think I had like 90 something thousand that I had saved up, right, since I started working here. I'm an avid saver. Like, I love saving. I love seeing money just pile up in my account. But also, no, I had a goal, right? Like, I had a goal of either buying land or a car. So I don't just save for the fun of it. Like, I save for things, right? So it helps when you have a goal. So yeah, so I had that amount of money like saved up, but I still needed the extra, like I think like 50,000 rands. So I called a few people, a lot of people, and asked for money, and I needed the money like ASAP. And a few people said no. Some were like, nah, I can't get the cash now. Yeah, it was a lot. But eventually I found someone to borrow money. Bless her heart. Like, I think she gave me like 50k or something. And to trust someone with that amount of money is, but we know each other, and I think she trusts me, and I would do the same for her, right? So she borrowed me the money, and I bought the car, but it wasn't that easy, right? I remember the day that we were buying the car, like on the day we got there, right, I sold my car, which was a smooth process. Sold my car, the money, I told her not to give me the money directly, but to put it into the other like transaction. So I had no car. In between that time where I sold the car and bought the car, I had no car. We got there at, I think 9-10 in the morning, and we left there at like close to 7. The first issue was that I lost my license. I used my license the previous day when I was test driving the car. Turns out, license the car is gonna buy. Like, after a while, like looking for it, I was like, let me go check the car, and it was there. So I was like, okay, this is a sign. This car definitely needs to be mine. Like, this is a sign. So, okay, that was the first hurdle. And then the second thing, I think they wanted like a certified copy of my ID. I didn't have that. I didn't have my ID. I left my ID at home. So I only had a copy. Lucky enough, my friend knew people in Durban. So she asked for a favor from someone, right? She's like, can you... She asked for a favor. And then that was the second like challenge. So we got the ID copy certified. Now the third challenge was that at the time my savings were with Time Bank, and they didn't have an account with Time Bank. So if I had sent the money, it wouldn't reflect immediately, right? And Time Bank at the time didn't have like an immediate payment thing. So basically what that meant is that if I send the money now and it reflects tomorrow, I can't leave the dealership with the car. Common sense, right? I can't leave the dealership with the car. So if I sent the money, if I took the risk of sending the money and it reflects the next day, and this was like, I think midday already, like afternoon. So I was like, I don't know if I want to take that risk, because it doesn't guarantee me anything. And I wanted to, like, we wanted to leave that day for home, because we had been there like for close to 7 days now. Excuse me. So now in that time, like, it was so bad. In that stressful time, like, I'm trying to find someone to not, like, I had the 50k from that lady who, bless her soul, borrowed me 50k, but I needed to find someone who was gonna borrow me 90k and who used either FNB, ABSA, KBSEC, or all the other banks, you know, and they could wire the money and it would reflect same time. So now I had to go back to the people who refused to give me 50k and ask for 90k. But anyway, so I started like borrowing the money in like drips and drabs, like 20k here, 30k here. It was a long day. Like, I cried so much that day. Like, it was supposed to be a good day, but the level of stress and frustration that I went through is just, I don't know how I even like managed. Okay, I know how, because my friend was there, and God bless her heart, because I don't know what I would have done without her. Like, she was calm, and like, she just, yeah, she did the most for me that day, right? I was losing it. Like, I was losing it. Like, I cried so much. Anyway, so yeah, I needed to borrow the 90k, and I don't want to like go into detail. Like, if I eventually managed to buy the car, right? I remember I think it was like 6:30 or something, they gave me the keys, and I sat in that car, and I was like, now what? Like, we can't drive back home because I can't see at night, so we couldn't leave there and then drive back for 3-4 hours. So we needed to find a hotel to sleep over, because I couldn't even drive for an hour back to my friend's place. I was mentally, emotionally, physically tired from like the events of the day. But what I wanted to emphasize with this whole story is that not once, like, during that time did I think this was not gonna happen. I remember crying and thinking, God, like, you told me this was my car. And also, like, people say this all the time, that God told me this. Like, I knew, like, in my heart of heart, that I needed to have that car. That car was mine. I knew it. I don't know how. I don't know. Like, I just knew. So I remember crying. I was like, God, you told me that this car was mine. Like, you made me sell my car. Okay, you didn't make me, but I sold my car. I have no car, right? I have no car. And you're going to do this to me? Like, this is so silly. Like, I remember having that conversation with God. I was outside crying. And what frustrated me with the whole thing was that the guy who was helping me wasn't helping at all. He was frustrated at the fact that he couldn't get like the sale that day. So it was just like, you should have told me that you're using time bank. When and why? Like, you know, like, he wasn't helping, right? So it was just a whole lot of things at once, and I was like, God, why is this so difficult? Like, why is this being so difficult when you specifically assured me, gave me this desire, showed me that I could have it? Now I'm here. All I need is for this payment to reflect, you know, on these people's accounts, and then I can drive off with this car. Like, why is this proving to be such a difficult thing to happen? I didn't get an answer, obviously, but what I knew for sure was that that car was mine, and I was gonna drive off with it. I didn't know how, I didn't know when, I didn't know, you know, but I knew in my heart of hearts that that was my car. So as things happened and like things unfolded and people were helping me, like, it was just a confirmation of the fact that you said, and now it's happening, you know. So yeah, I just wanted to tell the story to remind myself where I'm coming from with this God and his promises and the desires that he's put in my heart, right? Because right now I feel like nothing's happening for me. Like, people around me, like literally everyone around me has things going on, like big things. My friends are getting married, opening practices, being independent, like careers are booming, people are buying houses, like people are opening their own pharmacies, getting like I said, getting married. Like, it seems like everyone else is prospering except for me, and it's such a difficult place to be at in general, because I have such big dreams for myself and for my baby. Like, and I think that's another thing, is just that I just want to be successful for my baby. Like, I want so much more for us, for the both of us. And right now it just feels like everything not even right now, like since last year, it just feels like everything that I try, everything that I put my mind to, everything that I'm like striving for is just not the seeds that I'm planting or trying to plant, or things that I'm working towards are just not coming together, and it's frustrating, and I don't know how long the season is gonna last. I know it's a season, I don't know how long it's gonna last, but I just wanted to remind myself and you, if you're going through the same thing, that God is still there. Like, He's done it before and He'll definitely do it again. And I just hope that I don't lose hope and faith in Him. I won't lie, it's difficult. It's really difficult. But yeah, that's my testimony. I feel like I was all over the place, but that's my testimony. Like, He will deliver. He will do what He said He will do. His word will not return to Him void, but it will do what He sent it to do. His promises are yes and amen, and it's hard, very, very difficult. Like, if I could explain to you what is happening here, right? But you must go on, right? So we must just keep trusting, and at the right time, He will certainly do what He said He will do. And I hope you enjoyed this long video. If you watched until the end, please comment with a thumbs up. And yeah, guys, life is hard. Life is hard. But thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.